In the early 2000s, games were divided between cute, charming platformers like Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Spyro, or gritty games focused on selling the image of sex to the horny male, wanting a little virtual fix. BloodRayne could be considered one of those games. Clad in a tight leather dominatrix outfit with enough skin and cleavage to make a man want more, it's clear from advertising that Rayne's curvy features were more of a focus than the main game itself. Rayne likes to suck. Blood, that is. See, Rayne is a Dampier. She's half vampire, half human. Unlike the typical vampire, light and water affects her but won't instantly kill her, though you will see her avoiding both. For her father Keegan, a king-like vampire, he rapes women to impregnate them, and once their offspring is born, later kills the mother's family so their offspring has no other choice than to join Keegan's cult. Rayne's mother would follow this fate, but unlike Rayne's full-blooded vampire siblings, Rayne followed a different path. She channeled her anger and proved her worth, eventually being accepted as an agent for the Brimstone Society, a secret fraternity that protects humanity from supernatural evils. She would use this to her advantage to hunt down and eliminate Nazis and later Keegan's offspring. If you've never heard of this series, I can't blame you. It was never as prominent as some other franchises out there and quickly died out. The series was promising, combining gunplay, acrobatics, and hack-and-slash elements in a gothic tale that originally started out as a sequel to the PC horror hit Nocturne, but when difficulties arose in using the rights for a sequel, BloodRayne was born. So, before we go into why it's such a big deal why BloodRayne is back, let's talk about the history of this underrated franchise first. The first game would see BloodRayne on a series of missions with the Brimstone Society in the 1930s. The main story of the game revolves around the resurrection of Belair, a powerful demon who once ruled Hell but was torn to 1,000 pieces. His bone structure, organs, everything, and was scattered across the earth. Finding these body parts, the individual will merge with the piece, gaining new abilities. Rayne discovers this on her first mission and later discovers Nazis are acquiring pieces by their leader. Belair is resurrected and eventually defeated by Rayne. It then ends on a cliffhanger of Rayne's vampire father Keegan being found and said that he must be stopped. BloodRayne 2 would pick up soon after this cliffhanger of BloodRayne, with Rayne almost finishing off her father but losing out on the chance. The story is then pushed into the 21st century, but with Rayne now hunting down Keegan's offspring, known as the Cult of Keegan, who plan and execute the Shroud, a substance released into the sky that blocks out the sun, allowing vampires to roam during the day. Keegan is also revealed to be alive, with Rayne finally defeating him and taking his place. New gameplay mechanics would make the series more accessible than ever before. A wider variety of combat skills, acrobatics, and finishers, and an upgraded design of Rayne's character helped further establish the series. But BloodRayne would go dark after only 2 titles. The series wasn't entirely dead. A long running string of non-canonical comic books further showed Rayne at different points in her life, showing different emotional sides of the character while bringing back familiar characters. She also had an appearance in the 2005 PSP game Infected as a playable character, and a series of 3 films by infamous director and butcher of video game adaptations Uwe Boll were released between 2006 and 2011, with 2 actresses starring as Rayne. Each of the films took place in different eras, with plot elements taken straight out of the games. All films are deeply regarded as the worst video game adaptations out there, so much that the second and third films were made direct to DVD, and the second film included a copy of BloodRayne 2 for PC to probably help boost sales. Uwe Boll even made a parody of his third BloodRayne film, shot scene for scene during the filming of the third film called Blubberella. Then, at E3 2010 and 2011, 2 new BloodRayne titles were announced, but there was a catch. The first was called BloodRayne: The Shroud, a title announced for the new Nintendo 3DS, but later specified that it would come out on the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Judging by the title, it likely would have picked up in the aftermath of BloodRayne 2. No footage was ever shown, and its development was delayed after the announcement of a second game, BloodRayne Betrayal. BloodRayne Betrayal was a 2011 2D hack-and-slash adventure by WayForward, known for a ton of other 2D games like the Shantae series. To its credit, it's not a bad game. It has a lot of what makes a BloodRayne game, but after BloodRayne 2 and a long absence, the 2D hack-and-slash platformer isn't what longtime fans wanted, and it was clear. The game sold poorly, resulting in the cancellation of BloodRayne: The Shroud, and the BloodRayne series quickly died off once again. What's really stupid is that Majesco believed that BloodRayne Betrayal would be the game to bring this series back. After the first two 3D hack-and-slash games, it makes zero sense to believe a 2D platformer with no voice acting at the time, and a hard, unwelcoming difficulty would bring new players in. The story doesn't even acknowledge any of the past events, and really stands out on its own in a completely different timeline than the original games. Majesco will later go on to cease development on video games in 2016 after, strangely enough, merging with a biotech firm, but would later return to releasing video games in 2017 after a private entity purchased the company. But in 2020, Ziggurat Interactive would purchase a huge number of Majesco Entertainment IPs, including BloodRayne, with plans to continue the series. 2020 had remastered versions of both original games called the Terminal Cut on Steam, with original developers Terminal Reality handling it. And 2021 would see everyone's love it or hate it BloodRayne Betrayal re-released as BloodRayne Betrayal Fresh Bites, with veteran voice actress Laura Bailey returning to one of her earliest, most iconic roles, and would see the game's previously criticized difficulty rebalanced. It was available digitally and as a standard physical version for the PS4, PS5, and Switch, as well as the Collector's Edition, exclusively through limited run games. And to my surprise, remastered versions of the two original BloodRayne titles would be released as BloodRayne Revamped and BloodRayne 2 Revamped for a fall 2021 release on the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, with physical versions once again exclusively available through limited run games. Whether these are ports of the Steam versions or fully remastered for consoles, we'll just have to find out. And this is why it's important to realize that BloodRayne is making a comeback. Unlike Majesco Entertainment, who decided that a 2D spin-off that deviated from the hack-and-slash gothic action of the 3D originals was enough of a deciding factor for the series, Ziggurat Interactive seems to see a future for the series. They could have easily purchased the rights, left them in the dust, but they're reintroducing Rayne back into the world by re-releasing new versions of all three games. But the gaming world has changed since BloodRayne 2 was made. Stories are more elaborate, gameplay is more fluid with a cinematic approach in visuals and motion capture acting. We should expect so much more now. More enemies on screen, more blood and gore, finishers, combos, and story lore. If an official third game is made, it has a lot to live up to after years of isolation. But I think the franchise is in great hands thanks to Ziggurat Interactive, and with Terminal Reality still active by remastering the first two games for PC, I can see them making this third game. So, cross your fingers and show your support by purchasing BloodRayne Revamped, BloodRayne 2 Revamped, and BloodRayne Betrayal Fresh Bites on your favorite platform. It's the biggest way we can make our voices heard by pouring our wallets into this. Everyone's favorite leather-clad sarcastic bloodsucker is back, and it's a big deal. Will you be purchasing any of these re-releases? What would you like to see in the third game? Let me know in the comments, and while you're at it, why not hit like and subscribe? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Fun fact, did you know Rayne was the very first video game character to appear topless in Playboy?